Hey guys. Okay, so the YouTuber Clothespins, who I debunked earlier today, is doing a stream about me right now. So he actually streams live from his server, and I've been invited to pop on, which I'm going to do. As you can see, the server is just filled up with a few of my people. More will probably trickle in. I let them know so they can come watch if they want to. Now let's pop on and see what happens.
That bolsters the argument and sort of brings a clarity from a moral standpoint as far as the argument goes. I'm just saying that, like, he had made that statement and he had said what Clothespins had said in his original video, that the statement was that when you're arguing against veganism, well, specifically the name of the trade argument, it's a tool that reduces somebody to either an absurdity or intellectual disgenuity or, inconsistency, logical inconsistency. So I think that was sort of more of the point of contention.
If everyone else could please, if you guys wouldn't mind, out of respect, Cognitive Dissonance, Grim, myself, and Ask Yourself, if everyone else could please keep yourself muted. Sorry. Muted.
Gotcha, boss.
If the other four of us, we will be the ones speaking. If everyone else could please stay muted, that'd be fantastic, guys. Not now, obviously. Once Ask Yourself starts speaking, can I just say Isaac? Does he care if I say Isaac instead?
You can say whatever you prefer. How are you
cool.
guys doing?
Right, so I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. And who exactly am I talking to here? I've got Clothespins and...
Yeah, I'm having everyone else mute. So if everyone else can mute, that way it's pretty clear talking. Right now it's just going to be you, and then I believe Cognitive Dissonance from your server as well. Me, which would be Clothespins. And then Grim, the Fang King. If you just want to call him Grim, it's just obviously a lot easier than saying the full name.
Sure.
I would expect.
I guess, do you already know Cog, or what's the connection?
Yeah. Back when everything originally happened and he had made the video on you, Cog had actually come to our server to have Discord.
I'm not sure what everything refers to.
Oh, well, when Clothespins originally made his video on you after he was banned from your server.
Well, either way, look, I don't care to do some big history recap, so if there's some kind of contention with the actual logic of what I'm saying, that would be fine.
My so we were originally going to go
today was
video.
Primarily... Sorry?
Sorry, keep going. I'll let you just keep going.
Well, so my reply to you today was primarily just to show what follows if one were to say that species difference justifies murder, right? The conclusion of that would be that it's ethical for aliens to Holocaust humans.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was the general argument. I think still back in, I think it was 2018. I think back then it was still the same argument that you used then, right? The whole aliens, Holocaust, and humans, if you were to go about the species argument and name the trait, right? I think that was the same argument you used and name the trait back in 2018. I think that's kind of like been your general go-to for the species argument, right?
Well, I mean, it follows straightforwardly that if species difference justifies murder, then it would be ethical for aliens to Holocaust humans.
Yes, so that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Okay, so
so that's
do you accept that point, or do you have some kind of issue with that point?
Yeah. So so the way that I was going about the video, and I haven't watched that video in a long time, so I won't deny that I possibly could have worded or phrased things better back then than I could have now. But
I do see you defending yourself in the comment section fairly recently, though. There's comments from like about a month ago that you've posted on the video, so presumably
on your video?
No, on your own video. In response.
Oh yeah, I mean, I get the
presumably
notifications.
You stand by it. If you're gonna just
I do.
That okay. Well,
yeah.
So then you understand that the error that you're making in that video is that what follows if you say that species differences justify murder is that it's actually ethical to for aliens to Holocaust humans. So what we're not saying is something like, oh, it's ethical from the aliens frame. What we're not saying is something like, oh, I understand the alien. We're not saying anything like that. What we're not saying is anything about whether we'd fight back. The statement is about whether it's ethical for aliens to just Holocaust the species. Now, do you understand that it follows straightforwardly that it is ethical if species difference justifies murder, or do you try to contest that?
No, because it is an equivalent comparison. So I do understand that point. So
Okay.
that's what I was trying to get to in the point when, again, and this because I hadn't spoken to you yet, but I'm not cognitive dissonance, but a lot of members of your Discord are coming and saying that, that would lead then, if you to accept that, into absurdity, right? And that's kind of the general argument from name the trait, right?
Look, when you talk about absurdity, it's a frame relative thing, so it depends on who's looking at it. There's people who don't think it's absurd to like rape a child, right?
Of course, yeah.
Now,
I mean, absurdity
if you're
is generally subjective.
if you're anything like a normal person, though, you'd say that a position that justifies holocausting the entire planet is pretty absurd, surely. I mean, do you push back on that?
Yeah, I would.
You're gonna push back on the notion that it's an absurd thing to say that it's ethically justified to holocaust the planet?
Yes, because if you were to be a carnist, and you were to be, because obviously this is the argument between species, if you were to be a carnist and say, oh, okay, well, I can kill these animals because they're not humans, based on the species argument, then an alien were to come down and be like, hey, listen, I want to do the exact same thing, then it would be logically justified that they would be able to do that, because you were doing the exact same thing. So the absurdity behind it is simply logical consistency. So I don't see how that's absurd. You're simply saying, listen, I understand the perspective and point of view of the aliens because they're doing exactly what
but
I would be doing.
Wait, we're not talking about the point of view of the aliens, right? That's what I tried to draw attention to as a red herring. So we're talking about whether you ethically approve of them slaughtering people. So just to be clear, aliens come down here, and an alien takes your mom and puts a knife to her throat and then just slits her throat. You personally morally approve of that? That's your position?
That would be the position, yeah. That would be
not
the logical...
not a position. Is that your position?
No, because I'm vegan. So, I mean, that again, now I'm arguing from the point of a
Right, okay. So, and you would surely agree that anyone who says that it's fine if an alien comes down and just stabs their mom in the throat and drains her blood and eats her, that would be a pretty nutty thing to say. We can surely agree that such a position is absurd, if absurd is to mean anything with respect to moral positions.
No, because if you're talking about moral positions, they would be... Why would it not be absurd to agree that it would be morally justified? Why would that not be absurd?
Why would it be absurd to agree that it's morally justified? Absurdity is just a subjective evaluation, right? So
yes, of course.
Do you personally find it absurd?
Am I arguing again from the point of a carnist, or still arguing from the point of myself?
I've never wanted you to argue from the point of a carnist. I'm talking about your position. Are you going to tell me that you think, like, what's your position on that? Surely you agree that...
Yeah, I do agree.
Yeah, okay.
They would be morally justified.
So to you, it's clearly absurd.
No. I was saying I agree that it would not be absurd. That's what I'm saying.
You agree that it would not be absurd. So
yes.
You think that that's an acceptable position? You accept that position?
I do, yes.
I thought that you just said that you're a vegan.
I am a vegan, but again, I'm arguing for the point of a...
Right, but I just asked you not to do that. So instead of switching around, right, just talk from your perspective. Don't switch to the alien's perspective. Don't switch to a carnist perspective. Just talk from your perspective. Now, you personally, you agree that it's not ethical to stab your mom in the throat, right? You think that if an alien does that, that's
an alien or me stabbing my mom in the throat? Because you said me.
No, I'm asking about the same situation that I've been asking about the entire time.
Okay, yeah.
Which is
So
an alien doing.
Yeah, answer is still the same.
What's the answer? You seem to be
that
switching around.
It would be moral. I'm not switching. It would be moral. It's
according
the exact same
according
answer.
to your ethical system, or according to someone else's ethical system?
According to my own ethical system.
Okay, right. So you accept the position that it's ethical to holocaust the entire planet, then?
Yes.
Yeah, I would just rest my case there. You're a lunatic. That's crazy.
May I ask a question here? May I ask a question?
You're welcome to ask a question there, but just the thing is, when someone tries to defend carnism and they get reduced to a position where they're saying it's ethical to holocaust the entire planet, I mean, look, at that point, no one's going to agree with you. You're welcome to hold that position, and you can be logically consistent about that position. But if I reduce you to a point of saying that, everyone just thinks you're a lunatic and disagrees with your position. I've shown a conclusion that no one's going to accept.
How does that apply to animals? Is my question. Because if we're assuming... Because if we're assuming that that's true, that you're using the name the trade argument based on species to say that, well, since we believe in holocausting animals is okay, then that means we'd be okay with aliens holocausting us. And if we say, oh yeah, that is okay because we justify it, so it's justified, right? If we say that, you're saying that we're lunatics at that point, and so everybody would disagree with us. Yet society isn't made up entirely of vegans.
Right, that's a super low level argument. So you think all of the people who haven't reflected on their moral system and just have no idea about this would agree with your position when actually presented with the details of what it entails? You think if people are told...
No, I don't think that.
You think that if people... Exactly. You think if people are told that a given carnist position entails that it's ethical to holocaust the entire planet, they're going to accept it? Well, you've already said no, so clearly...
I think the issue is more like, I don't feel like it's a productive discourse because I feel like you're simplifying a complicated issue. So, like, I'm just curious whether you're using Name the Trade as a philosophical debate tool to simply win a debate, or if you actually care about the moral cause of veganism from your perspective.
Wait, those are the kind of questions I'm not interested in. I'm interested in the actual logic of the argument. So, we understand, right? We understand that if someone says species difference justifies murder, that what follows from that is that if aliens come down and they want to slit your mom's throat, they want to holocaust the planet, that's all perfectly ethical. Now,
that's one facet of the Name the Trade argument, though. I'm not saying I hold that position.
Wait a sec. So now Clothespins holds that position. He thinks that that's an ethical action. So with respect to him, I just rest my case there. If we say that's your position and you accept that, nobody's going to agree with you, right? It doesn't matter if they eat meat. They're not going to accept a position like that. They'll try to find a way to justify it where they don't have to say it's ethical to commit a Holocaust. How many times larger than the Jewish Holocaust? What's, 7 billion divided by 11 or 12 million? Right? So you're arguing you're welcome to find out how much larger the Holocaust that you're justifying is than the Jewish Holocaust. But point being, people reject the Jewish Holocaust, they're not going to accept the global Holocaust that you're proposing. If that's what your position entails, I just show that conclusion, and everyone determines your position to be insane.
It is 2%.
So I don't think that I actually have anything else to say to you. If you accept that, that's just a lunatic position. I've shown the conclusion, and people can judge for themselves if they agree with you.
What about a different position for Name the Trade? Like, what about practicality?
Well, I mean, I didn't come in here to have a whole separate debate, right? Like, I don't really, I don't mind that you're here or whatever, Grim, but, I don't really know you. I just came to mostly speak to Clothespins, and he's been reduced to a position where he's saying that it's fine to just holocaust the planet, right? So, I mean, I think that's all I really came here to do.
Wasn't that the original, point of the video in the first place, was the acceptance of that?
Well, your video was very weaselly. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but what your video did was, instead of straightforwardly acknowledging that you actually personally think that it's ethical for the entire planet to be holocausted, you were saying things like, I can understand the aliens' perspective, or, I would fight back, things that just don't really deal with the actual fundamental, the fundamental core of the reductio, which is your ethical approval of that insane global Holocaust. Now, unless you're going to back off that position, if you're really going to just hold down that you think it's ethical to holocaust the planet, I don't really have anything else to say to you. So are you going to be sticking to that?
No, so what I'm curious is, you say understanding...
Wait, can you just provide a straightforward answer, though? So, because once I talk to someone who's saying it's fine to just holocaust everyone, I just consider them a moral lunatic. I don't need to engage you, really. So,
that's fine with me.
Are you actually?
But I told you that I already.
So just to be totally clear for everybody.
No, what I want to know is
just to be totally clear for everybody. If an alien, just to be totally clear about your position, okay, so I'm just going to talk over you if you do that. So just to be totally clear,
that's totally fine.
Right, if you do that, I'll just leave, right? And you've already been exposed as
really? So you're gonna duck actual.
Okay, so they muted me and I left, but as you can tell, the guy thinks that it's ethical to holocaust the planet. You can judge for yourself if you agree with that position. That's all for today. Till next time.